So now I'm going to share with you how KONOS helps you to put into practice what you've picked up from here, what you're teaching your children from here, right? So you can think of it like this way if you're thinking in a teacher's mind way. You mentioned earlier that you're getting a couple of teachers on a teacher that's trained, a trained teacher. Now your trained teacher is going to come in with the thinking, history, geography, science, what subjects are they going to be learning at which levels, and this one's a grade 8, and what science do they need to do, and what geography do they need to do. I want to ask you this question. Is God saying, right, those 16-year-olds need to learn this in geography? No. What he's saying is those 16-year-olds need to know how to have determination, know how to be patient, know how to apply themselves, have some initiative, take responsibility. That's what he wants. It is of no relevance to God what they learn in geography when they're 16. Absolutely zero. I have not found any reference here in his word about him saying that he wants the young adults to learn the following. He tells us a lot about what to teach the youth in here, and it doesn't cover subjects of different knowledge-based things. What he does say about knowledge, it's going to pass away. So think of all the time that teachers are spending, putting time into teaching the children all the knowledge from all these different subjects, so that they can pass that grade, so they can go to the next grade to learn another whole lot of knowledge. The hours it's taking to do that, when you could actually rather be training their characters. Now, while you're training their characters, he says in his word, be patient, be kind, be gracious. So how do the children know how to do that? So you go to KONOS, and you go to the patience section, the character trait. I'm just going to open any old way. And then I've suggested patience because I've done a workshop on how to use KONOS, and it goes through a patience unit explaining and showing how you're going to pull this out into a teaching environment. Okay, and it's all done in a separate workshop, so you can, I again won't go into the detail here, but we focused on patience in the workshop, so I'm referencing to patience here. But so now you're going to be taking your children from toddler right through to 18 years of age in the orphanage scenario, because there is higher level young adult KONOS, which is called KONOS HOW, which I don't think is relevant specifically in orphanage settings. I think this is relevant to the very end, even though it says it's up to age 14 or so. In orphanages, you go all the way with it, and as we were still doing this when I was 30. So, you see what I'm saying? But on the side here, it's telling you the social studies subjects that were covered, whether it was history, you're doing a history activity or science. But as I say, they're just there for that reference of, so this activity is focusing on a geography-based activity. But again, it's not relevant to God. What's relevant is that activity taught them to help them to practice the character trait of patience. And the whole time you're doing this as teachers with the children in the school, you're teaching them patience. From if one of you is teaching the little children, then you would be doing the little activities such as putting some seeds in the ground, the younger activities, and then the older ones would maybe be doing some research on horticulture or farming or agriculture. And now they're going to have to be patient because they've got to get through that soil. You can't set the 4-year-old to go and till the ground when it's as hard as a rock. So you set the older guys to it. And the little ones come in afterwards, and the older ones help the little ones put the seeds in the right place. That's KONOS. You're living what the Word of God says here. You're not focusing on what they've learned about agriculture. But the fact is, you've got an orphanage. You want to be self-sufficient, I'm guessing. You've got land. You want to plow it. You want to plant. You want to give your children these skills, right? This here gives you that directive. Instead of going, okay, now this season we're going to get the mealies growing, and now we're just laboring making mealies. Instead, you're going, while we're planting mealies, we're going to be focusing on as a home, children's home, all together as a family. We're going to be focusing on growing in patience. All of us are going to help each other to become more patient. And while we do that, we're going to go and get that land ready. And we're going to need patience to get it ready. A little bit further down now, you're doing determination. And so now you focus, same activity, let's say, but now you're on determination in KONOS. And now there's one child that's not really keen to pick up the pick because they're tired and it's too difficult, this work. Remember, we're doing determination. We all come alongside this one that's really finding it difficult to follow through with the determination. And so now you're helping that one in determination. And do you see what what KONOS does? KONOS gives you the directive. That's what it does. The activities, you might not necessarily do the activities that they say, but as a teacher, you're going to read through the whole patient's unit. You're going to, because of the age that you're busy with, you're going to circle the activities that are relevant to you, and you now have got a directive. If you do it or if you don't do it, it doesn't matter. How long you spend doing it doesn't matter. What matters is the evaluation at the end. Are the children more patient than they used to be? Do they understand what you mean when you say to them, we need to be patient? Or is that just a word to them? They don't really get it. They've been practicing patience. Now you as a teacher decide, right, my 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds and 10-year-olds, I think we're ready to move on to the next character trait. Or, as principal of the orphanage, you might decide, actually, we're going to stay with patients until we decide, the parents, that we're ready to move on. And all of you are doing patience from the 2-year-old to the 18-year-old. You see, so this to me is a fantastic gift for orphanages. It's a fantastic gift for children's homes because it takes all the pressure off the teachers having to sit down with these ones to do this geography lesson and these ones when it's not of any consequence to God. So why spend time on things that are of no consequence to Him? So why not rather get one manual? Talk about affordability. I mean, you normally have to buy all the different grades and all the different curriculum. One manual for one children's home. There. It's going to take you a couple of years to exhaust that, right up to age 18. Now, however, you as a children's home see that you need to use responsibility. You need to train them in responsibility, and it's not one of the character traits in here. So then you buy volume 3. And you do, I hope, responsibilities in volume 3, but there's different character traits in each book. So a lot of the children's homes are just buying all 3 volumes of KONOS and going, right, there is our social studies taken care of for all the ages. How much we do, how much we don't do, really isn't the point. When you're doing it, you're focusing on building character, and this thing that's happening as the byproduct is the skills that are happening. They're learning about agriculture accidentally. They're learning about science. They're doing science experiments. They're doing soil erosion and geography and everything else. They're doing history, the history of the land and the people that were there before them and their forefathers and everything. That's just happening. But it doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter if that actually happened or not. It doesn't matter if they know who was the king. What would matter is if he was a bad king. And he ruined, and the people were ruined in this way and that way because of the way he led. That's not going to matter. So now you can use that reference to teach them something of why God needs us to be good stewards, or why He needs us to be honorable people, or why we must honor God. And what does it mean to honor God anyway? Okay, let's go to the KONOS volume that's got honor in it. Because the children do not understand honor. They don't get a grasp of it. So let's spend the next term, month, 3 months, year doing honor. But you don't know how to do honor necessarily. Because your teacher training never taught you, I'm presuming right now, how to teach the children about honor. Did it or didn't it? Sorry, put you on the spot there. But I'm presuming, am I right or wrong?
Yeah, no, you're correct.
Okay, I'm right. Your teacher training didn't teach you how to teach the children about honor. Okay, that's the thing. So Oikos comes along and says, this resource here is going to help you teach them about honor. Do you see the order we put things in? Bible resource, this. Before we even looked over here at language and science and over here at maths, I'm sure you agree by now, I put the KONOS aside, that if we stop there again, you see, we stopped at the very beginning with the word. And now we just take a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit. Each time we go, we could stop again and say, that's enough. Don't actually have to go into languages. The only time we need to go into heading into languages now is because of the fact that you need to teach the children to read so that they can take a KONOS manual and teach the children that God entrusts to their care one day. So that they can take the Word of God and read it to their children, or to when they go to serve in a children's home somewhere, or whatever it might be. That's why you're going to teach them to read.